Evet, soruların değerlendirmesine geçiliyor efendim.
Pek çok soru geldi. İlk önce bunları bir miktar hepsini sormamıza vaktimiz el vermeyecek. Dolayısıyla Profesör McCarty'yi ilk önce Justin rica edelim. Sizden geliş şekliyle sormak durumundayız. Yani Türkçe yazanlara Türkçe, İngilizce sorulanlara İngilizce soracağız. Ve biraz evvel de söylediğim gibi vakit darlığından dolayı belki hepsi sorulamayacak. O bakımdan şimdiden özürünüzü rica ederim, özür diliyorum. Justin, the first one I'm reading to you is from Dr. Salih Yuran. 1920 yılında İngilizler misak-ı milli kararını alan meclisi kapattılar. Bir kısım üyelerini Malta'ya sürüp götürdüler. Ermeni soykırımı kararını alan hükümet üyelerini de yargıladılar. Bu yargılama sonucu alınan kararlar, yargılama sonucu hakkında bilgi verir misiniz? Bu bir süre sonra Malta sürgünleri Türkiye'ye geri döndü. İngilizler soykırıma ait bir belge bulunamadığını bildirdiler. Bu doğru mudur?
If I understood perfectly, because it's a very fast question for me.
Okay.
If I understood perfectly, it's a question about whether the British found any evidence of this.
Yes, especially the ones that they had sent over to Malta, yes. You know, the Turkish government.
What happened in this period was, as you know, the British occupied Istanbul. Well, actually, the British, the French, the Italians, and others occupied Istanbul. But the British were in charge. The British attempted to find evidence that the Turks had committed genocide. They attempted to find this evidence, and they failed. Can you hear me out there?
No.
No.
Justin, why don't you get one
now,
of these mics?
I suppose I'll have... Can you hear me now?
No.
If I eat this, will you be able to...
How about now? Yes. Oh. Mashallah. Okay. The British, okay? Okay. Now, higher. No, this is fine. Yes? Good. Does anyone know where this came from as a symbol? I have no idea. All right. When the British occupied Istanbul, they decided they were going to convict the Turkish government, especially members of the Ittihad Meselesi party. They were going to convict them of genocide. Because the British believed, as many people did, the British believed the Turks had done this. So they had in their command, in their control, they had the entire Ottoman archives. They had the government, the Quisling government. You ever heard of Quisling? Quisling means the traitor government of Damat Ferit Pasha. You know, Damat Ferit Pasha. I do not like him much. They had the government of Damat Ferit Pasha. They had everything. They should have been able to find evidence. They could not find evidence. They were holding a number of officials of the government, people who had been parliamentarians who were elected to the Ottoman Parliament, the last Ottoman Parliament. They arrested them, they took them to Malta, and they were holding them there. They thought they were going to have trials of these people. They would convict them of genocide. But the problem was they couldn't find any evidence. And the reason they couldn't find evidence, of course, was because it didn't happen. They had the archives in their hands. They found everything that there was, and there wasn't anything. There was evidence. There was indeed evidence that Turks had killed Armenians. This was there. As Kamaran Gurun Bey has written in his excellent book, I think it was 1,200 or 2,000, there were trials that were held by the Ottoman government during the war, in which they convicted and even hung some people of crimes against Armenians. Naturally, in a war, people do bad things. But a government that convicts people of killing Armenians and hangs those who does it, that government does not intend genocide. And so the British were never able to find anything, which is a good reason to believe that it didn't happen at all. Does that answer the question? Yeah. All right.
Now the second question comes from Özlem Sambek, the director of
Ambassador.
Yeah. Ambassador Gündüz Aktan challenged the Armenians to resort to the International Court of Justice or to arbitration. They didn't take on their challenge so far. Do you think that the legal approach is a way forward?
I do not think so. While I have the greatest respect for Ambassador Aktan, and while I believe his idea is very well meant, I think this is a problem that should be done by scholars, not by lawyers. You see, lawyers use evidence in a very different way than historians do. Historians should try to collect all the evidence on all sides and come to a conclusion. Lawyers, when they look at an issue, are trying to push their own point of view, one side or the other. The Armenian Republic side against the Turkish Republic side in a big fight. This is not the way it should be. It should be scholars working together. That may not happen. I would much rather see a commission named, as I have said before, a commission named perhaps by the scholars of the Türk Tarih Kurumu and a commission named by scholars from the Armenian Republic who would come together and work as scholars. A commission of historians who would study this issue. They are much more trained. There are very few lawyers who read Ottoman Turkish, unfortunately. And that being the case, it would be hard for them to do the work. So I would rather see a commission of scholars created. I also will tell you that I do not trust the World Court. The World Court does not necessarily understand historical situation, and the World Court is affected by politics. I would much rather see scholars do it. And I realize that if that is the case, the scholars might come to different views. You might have one view, you might have two views. The Turkish scholars may come to one view, the other scholars may come to another. But in the process of studying,